All right. It is Monday night, and here we are, ready for Nerdcamp Sports. I am your moderator this evening, Mike Williams. Got Raja Anthony Ali. R&B should be joining us soon, and Agent Solstice should be joining us for the football section of this podcast tonight. How you feeling today, brother?
Man, I'm feeling great. You know, like we was talking about off the air, football's right around the corner. Not just preseason, but real football. So I'm looking forward to that. And
Absolutely.
just enjoying the time that we got right now. That's all.
Absolutely. What's your mental on today? Scale of 1 to 10.
I would say a 6. Um,
Okay.
it's better than last week, I believe. I don't know what number I said last week, but it's
I think you
definitely
said I
better.
think you said five.
Yeah, yeah. So it's getting there. It's getting there. And yourself?
Uh, I'm at about a 7 this week. Just tired.
Yeah,
Tired. Got some stuff going on. Nothing I can't handle, but I'm tired.
exactly.
I can't complain. So we gonna start off with a, a trade was made in the NBA recently.
Mm-hmm.
The Cavaliers acquired Peyton Watson from the Nuggets. And in the midst of this accusation, James Harden took I believe I read $97 million pay cut, if I'm not mistaken. That number could be
Mm-hmm.
wrong, but I know he did take a pay cut.
Right.
Um, we now we you and I have been critical about Cleveland,
Mm-hmm.
especially in recent years, due to the fact that they have not been able to win. They've had the talent. You got Mitchell, you got Allen, you got Mobley. Now you have Harden, Garland's gone. But they really believe that Peyton Watson um is the piece they need to go over the top. Do you
Mm-hmm.
believe that this move will help improve the team to get further? Obviously, there's only one more step past the Eastern Conference Finals, but do you think this can make them go further to get over that hump?
Honestly, no. I think they reached their max point. I think the Eastern Conference Finals is exactly where they should be, or that should be like the goal for this upcoming season. They pretty much did everything they could to just get the young talent that they need, and bringing Peyton Watson on. He's pretty much like a 15-point a night scorer, five
Right.
rebounds, 2 assists, and shooting 50% from the field. He's got enough to pretty much help them get through the regular season. I think this is a regular season type move, because there's a lot of veterans on the team. You got, like you mentioned, James Harden, Donovan Mitchell's a veteran. There's players on there that honestly, during that like dog days of basketball, they might need somebody to go out there and put up 20, 25 points a night. So I look at this as more or less a regular season type move to help them get to where they want to go, versus it being um, the next plateau, which is, of course, the NBA Finals. Honestly, I don't think they can make it to the NBA Finals. This Eastern Conference is better than what we actually think.
Well, I agree and disagree if that kind of makes sense. I do believe that they have plateaued. Um, you know, they have gotten to the highest point that you can get to, and but I do believe they could go further. Will it happen? Probably not. But could it happen? Absolutely. What the hell? Hold on. I don't know
Uh huh.
why it won't Yeah, so what you call it? So yeah, can it happen? Sure. You know, will it happen? Probably not. You know, I look at obviously Philly's the favorite, right?
Mm-hmm.
I look at the, obviously the Knicks are still in the mix.
Yep.
Um, then the Celtics have regressed, but do still expect, I do still expect competitiveness from them.
Right.
Uh, you know, Cleveland's still there. Uh, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
You got
Toronto's in the
Detroit.
mix.
Yep.
Detroit, they're going to take a regression as well, but they're still there. I
Yep.
expect the Pacers to get back into the fold to some degree with the return of Tyrese Halliburton. So there's a lot to go off of, but I do not think that they will be able to get over that hump, and mainly because I don't even think it's their fault as a team. It's only one man's fault, and that's the man who took the pay cut.
Right.
He's the one that just disappears. We know
Yeah.
he is one of, in my opinion, one of the greatest regular season players of all time. Regular season, James
Yeah.
Harden, especially in them Houston days, is a monster. Those
Yep.
OKC days off the bench, a monster.
Mm-hmm.
In recent years, um, Clippers, James Harden, even Cleveland, James Harden has been all right. Where else did he go? Philly,
He went to
James Harden.
Brooklyn.
He
Yeah.
was he was in and out of Philly so quick you forget he was there. Like, yep, Brooklyn, James Harden. So
Yeah.
when you look at that, it's just like, bro, you've gotten $511 million over the career. But I just don't think that this is something that they can overcome either.
Right.
So I'm just gonna move ahead here to something that's not on the list, but just crossed my mind. I seen something that I shared the other day about Nikola Jokic
Uh-huh.
going to the Lakers.
Yeah.
Now, I'm this is my humble opinion. Um, I believe this is going to turn into another Giannis situation. Um, we know Nikola Jokic doesn't like care. It's weird. Like he doesn't care, but like he cares. Like
Yeah.
every player, no matter what, they want to win.
Right.
And I don't see them giving him the help in the way that the NBA is moving to compete for a championship. Will they make the playoffs? Yes. Will they be top 4 in the West? Yes.
Right.
Maybe even top 3 or 2. Will they be competitive? Yes. But can they win it all? No. That's the issue. And then, Peyton Watson is gone. I think he was a good piece for them. Even at 15 points a game, but now it looks to that. Are we going to see it? In your mind, what does Nikola Jokic to the Lakers? Let's say it happens after this season. Luke is there. They make it
Mm-hmm.
happen. Nikola Jokic to the Lakers, paired up with Luka Doncic, which could be the greatest international duo of all time,
Yep.
arguably. But it's if it were to happen.
Right. Well, I'll say this. Um, I mean, you also got to factor in that they brought in DeMar DeRozan. I know that doesn't really make any difference, but DeMar DeRozan, 18, 20-point scorer a night, is taking the place of Peyton Watson. So you got to factor that in for this upcoming season. However, someone like Nikola Jokic, someone that's an MVP, multiple time All Star, NBA champion. He's very, very, very underrated. And I know you guys get on my case about Nikola Jokic, and you guys say, "Oh, he can't be the greatest center of all time." That's fine. That's debatable. But what I'm saying, as far as in his current climate in the NBA, if someone
Mm-hmm.
like Nikola Jokic joins the Lakers, that just put them in a number one, number two spot, number two, number one spot, excuse me, for the Western Conference. That instantly changes the whole entire team. Because what are the two things that they're missing? They're missing a big man, right? A legit big man. And then number two,
Right.
they're missing a scorer. See, Nikola Jokic's abilities are dependent on multiple things. He's the scorer when he wants to be. He can pass the ball when he wants to be, and he can get a rebound when he wants to get it, right? So if he can take over those three things, now you have one of the best centers in the game right now, and then you have one of the best point guards, right? Point forwards or whatever you want to call them.
Whatever you want to say, right?
Yeah, Luka Doncic. And all you pretty much are missing is a wing player and some bench players. And you pretty much got a recipe for an NBA team. But with that being said, we still don't know if he's going to sign a contract with Denver again. You know, if he's going to sign an extension. But I think it all depends on how this goes this season. If they don't make any noise or if they get eliminated in the first round, I think it's goodbye. I think he moves on. I think he goes to the Lakers. And I hope he does. I hope he does go to the Lakers, because if he goes to the Lakers, that is multiple championships right there. And now the conversation is, who's the greatest big to ever live?
Well, when it comes to it, I think that if he goes to the Lakers, obviously now you're gonna have an expectation in Denver already. You're an
Oh, yeah.
MVP multiple times. You've won a championship. We get all that. But if you move from Denver and you go to the Lakers, one of the most storied franchises in the history of sports, not just basketball, sports. You know,
Yes.
when you look at, you look at some of the biggest teams in history. Obviously, the Lakers are up there with, the Knicks and the Celtics, of course. The Steelers, the Cowboys, the Giants. The Yankees, the Red Sox, the Dodgers, and what have you. So when you look at those teams, you have to really be prepared for that.
Yeah.
My only thing is, if you go, it depends how they acquire him. Now, you talked about him signing a contract. Now, if he's a free agent, that makes it very, very easy. But let's just say it doesn't go that smooth. Do you have to gut the roster? That's my only fear, is if somehow it doesn't go that smooth, and Denver finds a way to retain him, and then much like Milwaukee did with Giannis, they retained him and then he wasn't happy.
Right.
So that's the thing. So I think that, though, if he goes to the Lakers, side Luka, and this is high praise, but it's the truth. Anything less than a championship is a failure.
Of course.
Those two guys easily can score. Those two guys could easily a night do 60 points, 20 plus rebounds,
Yep.
20 plus assists a night.
Easily.
Those are two triple-double magnets.
Yeah.
The only issue I have is they're a liability defensively.
Okay. That's fair.
Obviously Luka more than Jokic. But, Jokic's game it works for him, but he plays sluggish. Like, does that make sense? He plays sluggish.
He plays at his own pace.
Right. So, that's the only thing, is because there are going to be nights. I've seen nights where Jokic 1 of 9 from 3. Luka 4 of 17 from 3. 4 of 8 from 3. 4 of 11 from 3. Shooting 29%. Not rebounding very well, and what do you do on those nights if you have to gut the roster, or if you don't have another guy? So, but I think it would be good for them down the road. And Denver would just have to figure out how to rebuild.
Yeah.
What do you think DeRozan to the Nuggets does for the Nuggets this season?
I think it keeps them in a place where they can actually get a little bit further in the playoffs. At least I hope that's the case. Because last season, one of the biggest problems the Denver Nuggets had was the bench scoring. Once Nikola Jokic sat down, then
Yep.
everything sat down with him. You know, his points, the rebounding, the assist, everything would stop the moment Jokic will leave the floor. That was the biggest thing. Now, if you get someone like DeMar DeRozan, you kind of manage his time during the regular season. He can probably score anywhere between, like I said, 18 to 20 points a night because he's a scorer. He's not a defender, but he's a really good scorer, mid-range shooter. With that being said, I think that with him, Jamal Murray, you still got Aaron Gordon on the team. You know, you got enough to get you guys to that top 4 spot in the West. At least in my opinion. You know, you can make a serious run and get in that top 4. So if that's the case, I think they can make a deeper run. Unfortunately, I don't think it solves the problem for OKC or solves the problem for the San Antonio Spurs because those teams are loaded with talent.
Mm-hmm.
But they go up against teams like, I don't know, Houston Rockets, or they go up against teams like the Lakers or any other Western Conference team that was in contention, like the Wolves and stuff like that, then I do believe they can beat them. I think they can beat them, but it's not going to be in a place where it's like, okay, these guys are winning the championship. I think they make a deeper run. I think they at least get to the semifinals of the Western Conference. Potentially, depending on how they're seeded, they can even make it to the Western Conference Finals. But
Right.
do I feel they can beat those big two, like the Spurs and the Thunder? Absolutely not. Their team is too old and too sluggish. And then on top of that, like the San Antonio Spurs, I don't think people understand how good they were. I mean, yes, we watched the Knicks win the championship, but this is probably the best San Antonio team I've seen in my lifetime. And I've watched Tim Duncan, you know, Manu Ginobili, you know, Tony Parker. I watched those teams. David Robinson. I watched those teams. But when I say as far as talent goes, with like 3-point shooters, defenders, rim protection, come on. They had everything. There was no soft spot in their whole entire game. But in reality, they got a really good opportunity to go run it back again. So I don't see the Denver Nuggets really getting to the championship.
Well, and the other thing is too, back then you could have 5 players and all of them didn't have to be all-stars or
Right.
superstars in order to get the job done.
Yeah.
Obviously, Tim Duncan was an all-star. We know that. I believe he made the all-star team 18 times in his career.
Yeah.
I believe Ginobili's made some all-star games.
Yes, multiple.
I think Parker has made quite a few himself.
Yep.
Obviously, those are the big 3, but we know that coming up, but that bench didn't matter who was on it. The system worked. Right? And it didn't matter who they infiltrated in there. Robert Horry, Boris Diaw, whoever was there at that time or whoever they can get their hands on. As long as you understood the process and the system, you fit. And I think for them now, you know, now with the San Antonio Spurs are back to where they are, but the philosophy's changed because the system is no longer in place. Now their coach, what's his name again?
Mitch Johnson.
Mitch Johnson. I was going to say Dennis Johnson for some reason. So when you look at
the microwave,
when you look at that now, because to me their weakness, and it wasn't even really his fault, is De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, exactly.
You know, and I don't even, and it's not because he's a bad player or that can't play anymore. No, it's just like he didn't carry what he could. You know, you got a guy like Castle there. You have a guy like Vassell there. You have a lot of Dylan Harper, who's going to be an all-star in his own right. So when you have all these pieces and you have all these people and you have all this going on, it's a lot. It's a lot, and they're more capable. They're very capable of getting back there again. You know, outlasting OKC is no easy feat. and they
Right.
now are saying, okay, how are we going to get back there? They got back to, the conference finals, but now how are we going to do it? Because, you fellas, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't you say that OKC drafted like another large player of some sort?
Yes.
Yeah, he got the center from Mich. They got the center from Michigan.
Yeah, Mora.
Mhm.
So when you're looking, they're looking to build, and they want that guy because they need someone for Wemby. This is what it comes down to. The growth, and Wemby just had his third season, right? If I'm not right,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the growth from season 1 to 3 is insurmountable, and they got a lot to. Denver ain't gonna be able to contend with that. And to be honest, I don't know if anyone else outside of OKC even could contend with that as currently constructed.
Right.
R&B, how you feeling today?
I'm doing all right, fellas. How about y'all?
Pretty good.
Hey,
Pretty good.
can't complain. What's your mental on today? Scale of 1 to 10.
2. My shit gonna be a
Two.
2, man, for a while. For a while, good while.
Well, I'm still gonna ask every week. Eventually, you're gonna say 3, 4,
Mhm.
5. Just
Yeah.
one week at a time, one day at a time.
Fact. Facts.
So I was waiting for you to come on for this topic.
Yes, sir.
So
My apologies.
we know that we know some moves that happened, but one move, I got a few friends who are fans of the Miami Heat, and we know that the Dallas Mavericks bought out Klay Thompson this past week, and I'm echoing. Hold on, where's my headphones? See if I can get them. See if this helps. Put my AirPod in. All right, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, they got the Heat or the Mavericks bought out Klay Thompson. He signed with the Miami Heat. R&B, in your opinion, does this move help the Heat contend this season?
Say that again. You kind of it was a little choppy on the question.
I said, in your opinion, does Klay Thompson signing with the Heat help them this season?
Well, I can't really say that it's gonna help them. It'll help. It's not gonna hurt them, but I would have to say I can't really say that he's gonna like really help like that. Like as far as I mean, let's keep it real. Giannis went to the Heat because he felt like that was gonna be his best chance to, as far as, not making a super team or whatever the case may be, this is gonna be the best next franchise for him to go to try to set himself up to contend for championships in the East. So the goal should be, to try to win the championship this year.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to ask me if Clay can help them do that, I believe he can help them do that. But in the way that you asked the question, I could be misreading it. It make me feel like you trying to ask, is he gonna move the needle for them? And if that's kind of what you're hinting at, I can't say he gonna move the needle. I definitely think he'll help out, but it's a difference between the people who help out and the people who doing the heavy lifting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, There's a big difference. Yeah, I would say that I could get behind that, because when you look at, and this was crazy. My boy Rich, he used to live up here in New York, near me and Raj, and he's always been a Miami fan, and now he lives in Miami. And he just said something the other day that was so asinine. He was like, Clay is going to be to Miami now what Ray Allen was. I was so mad he said that, I had to call him on the phone and yell at him.
He might not be far off with that.
He's not far off.
He I don't think he's far off with it, but I still don't. This is what I say, and I know Raj probably want to get in on this. I don't think he's far off, right? But
okay,
I don't think Clay is still as good right now at this point in his career joining Miami as Ray Allen was when he left and joined Miami.
Right.
Well, the only reason I yelled at him was because, let's be honest, when Ray Allen joined the Heat, we knew they were still primed to make championships, right? Like they were that he came in the third year they were there, like as a unit. Clay is coming in now. There's not an expectation, I believe, because he was on their second championship, right? He won the second title with them.
Yeah, he wasn't with them when they beat OKC.
Yeah, so that would be so it should have been his third year that he was there with them. So the only reason I say that is because Miami's not expected to win, right? When Ray Allen went to Miami, they were expected to win. Will he be a contributing factor and piece? Absolutely. Can he still shoot the ball? Absolutely. It's just, and I could be biased as well. He was talking as a Heat fan, not as a basketball fan. So the way he's looking at it was a little like, we're going to win versus, okay, we got to build off of this, which is how I'm seeing it. I mean, like I said, can the Heat make some noise? I don't see why not. I don't see why they can't, finish.
I mean, being in the East, I think they can make a little bit of noise, for sure. I don't think they're not one of the favorites in of the whole thing, I wouldn't say. But being in the East, I think people are expecting them to make a little bit of noise in the East or whatever. But I also think that that people may not be picking the Heat, but let's not get it twisted. We know the Heat picking the Heat because that's how that culture operates. So
right. Go ahead, Raj. I know you want to get in here.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, like, when we look at the comparison of Ray Allen at 37 and 38 when he played with the Miami Heat and won a championship with the Miami Heat versus Klay Thompson. I mean, look, Klay Thompson averaged 11 points last season. He shot, let me see the percentage. He shot 50% from the field and 41% from the field and 38% from the 3-point line.
Yeah.
So, and he only played 21 minutes. So Ray Allen, compared to what he did, I think Ray Allen had spot minutes too. I think he played about 20, 25, 22 minutes, 26 minutes per game. So about 25, 26 minutes per game. He was
always in the game down the stretch too.
Yeah, but they brought him in. Yeah, they brought him in for clutch moments. They brought him in to spread the floor so he could hit those, clutch threes. Honestly, I think this is it. I think, this is probably the closest they're going to get to a quote-unquote Ray Allen type player that's on the Miami Heat team. A lot of people are saying, oh, the ball's going to just come one way and it's only going to be down the lane with Giannis and with Bam. There's no shooters. They ain't got no shooters. They got a shooter. They got what they need. I also
Right.
think they need to pick up some other pieces. Somehow, some way, I feel like with the buyout market, they probably can get Chris Middleton. So if you got Chris Middleton, Klay Thompson, uh, and Andrew Wiggins, you got enough shooters. You got enough shooters. And then of course you got D Mitchell.
Mitchell.
Yeah, for what they need.
I don't think they have a true high level shooter. You think any of those guys are high level shooters? I think they need at least one Duncan or Beasley or anybody that you
Like
can
a
think on the team
specialist.
that's a high level Canuck or whatever from Charlotte. I don't think they got nobody like that.
I mean, I think Andrew Wiggins is that guy. No. And I'm not. Hold on a second. Hold on. Let me get my take off. I'm not saying it because he's going to be a scorer. I'm saying he's going to fill those gaps that you need a shot. Think about what he did to win a championship in Golden State.
Hold on. You on some bullshit because we wasn't talking about the gap filling spots and
so what are we talking about?
High level 3-point shooters. Andrew Wiggins, is not
Andrew Wiggins. That could be Wiggins.
No. The closest thing you're gonna have to that on this team is gonna be Klay. And as you just pointed out, he only shot it at 38% last year from 3. Klay has not been the same. It's not that he can't still give a team something, because I'd have loved to seen him on the Pistons, but I wouldn't have been sitting here like, oh yeah, we got Klay. That's the move. That's it right there. Like, no, it's not. It's not 2016 anymore.
And they don't need that. I think what they need is a corner shooter like Klay Thompson. If I look at the corner shooting shots, I guarantee it's close to 50% on corner threes. And if you get another corner 3-point shooter like Andrew Wiggins, that is good enough for them to spread the floor. Huh?
I said I'm gonna try to look it up while you talking.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, I'm telling you that they got enough if they can find a way to work that offense. And I truly believe with the Miami Heat and their culture, they'll find it. They'll find a way. After the first 20 games, 25 games, they'll figure it out. Remember, we're talking about style of play, right? So Giannis is downhill, Bam is downhill, right? Now, what do you need? You need shooters. If you can find a way.
I'm not disagreeing with you, Raj. We both agree on that. I'm just saying I think that they need more high level. They need somebody that's going to shoot more around the 40 percentile, 45 to 45 or higher from 3. They need at least 2 of those guys.
Well, Andrew Wiggins shot 41% from 3. That's what I'm saying.
I said 45 or higher, didn't I?
45 is a lot. That's like, what does Steph Curry have? 42, 43?
So just Klay shot 43.8% from the right corner during last year's NBA season, totaling 20 out of 28 made out of 64 attempts. So that's not bad. You're not far off as far as like the maybe on the corner shot, like him knocking that down. I'm just saying that if he knocking it down at a high rate, then we got something.
That's what I'm saying.
He's not knocking it down at a high rate, man. And I'm saying until I don't expect him to until I see it, because I just don't believe in Klay like I used to. I don't. I'm sorry. I'm a Golden State guy too. Like I like love me some Klay, but I just don't believe in him like I used to. He ain't the same.
And this is what I'm saying. I know he's older, and I know that he doesn't have the same type of lift like he used to when he was played in Golden State before the injuries. However,
I'm just talking shooting. I don't even believe in him shooting wise no more. He done had some. Think about that slump he had this past year with Dallas. A horrible slump he went on for a minute there.
Klay Thompson is a catch and shoot guy, right? And Klay
Don't
Thompson
you think
wasn't
that would be the
playing.
perfect player to pair with somebody like Dallas #1 pick? What's his name? The white boy?
Cooper Flag?
Flag. You don't think he would be somebody perfect to pair with him? That's why they
No.
went out and got him, and then they released him.
Yeah, no. The reason why it didn't work in Dallas is because when he played alongside with Cooper Flag last season, Cooper Flag was just learning how to play point guard. He never played point guard before he played in Dallas. So somebody like, I don't know, let's say Kyrie Irving that was on the team, right? He could find Klay in those right spots because he's a catch and shoot player. He's at this point in his career, he's basically, what's my man's name? That was Mike Miller. He's basically Mike Miller. Is he going to give you 15 points a night? No. But can he give you three or four threes a game? Yeah, he could do that. He could give you
I think
3
you
a
really
game.
just proved my point though, because Miami had Mike Miller, but they also had Ray Allen and Shane Battier
And then
and
now you're proving my
Norris
point.
Cole.
My
And
my opening
how
my
I just
opening statement.
named.
My opening statement was you got Klay Thompson, you got Andrew Wiggins, right? And I also mentioned who else? I mentioned Middleton. If you can get Middleton, I think you got the recipe for what they need. Right now, they can just ride off of what they're doing with Klay Thompson and Andrew Wiggins. Because you know what Andrew Wiggins is going to end up becoming? A 3-point shooter. They're going to turn him into a 3-point shooter. I'm telling you. Mark my words. He's going to take the most 3-point attempts. Last season, that's what I'm saying. Last season, he shot 5 threes a game, right? Averaging 41%, 51% from the field. You can't get any better than that from Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins is one of those guys that he's going to get his shot off and he's going to score, but he's not going to score a lot. That is good. That's good enough for what Miami needs. They don't need nothing else.
I think when it comes to like right now, with Miami, they know this is going to be a brick by brick process. Giannis didn't go there and expect to win this year. And I think that for right now, to get those kinds of pieces will be helpful, but they know they have to make improvements. They have to bring someone else in if they, to make the serious threat that they're looking to make or to get back to. We know historically Miami has stretches where they're real good. They had that, obviously we know in the 90s they had some stretches, some rival where they were real good. No winning came from it, but there were stretches. Obviously the LeBron era, a couple years Jimmy got them to the finals. I believe he got them there twice. So it's going to be interesting.
High level 3-point shooters around them.
That's the thing, Rod, you're not wrong in what you're saying. I think that, obviously those guys can still shoot, but Klay, this version of Klay ain't Golden State Klay. Like that guy's gone. That guy's just as far gone as Houston James Harden.
Right.
We just ain't gonna see him no more. Can he still play defense and shoot? Sure, but it ain't as scary when he's out there on an island alone shooting. It ain't scary.
I don't think Roger was saying that he think he is still the Golden State Klay though. I just think he just
no. I was just saying in general.
Into the signing a little bit more so than I would, which to each his own.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad pickup at all. I just think they need more.
Yeah.
So let me ask.
They still need more pieces. Don't get it twisted. They definitely need more.
I'm talking in reference of shooting.
Do you guys believe that Miami can go 5 in the Eastern Conference? Finish 5th?
Let me see.
Maybe 6. All right. Let me rephrase. Can they avoid the play-in? That's
I
the
think
real
they can
question.
avoid health.
Oh yeah.
Given
Fuck
given
yeah.
health,
Yeah.
I think they can avoid it. I don't think they're top. I don't think they're top 5, but I think they're definitely top. 6
You don't think
maybe.
Miami top 5 in the East?
Nah.
Or are you just talking the whole NBA?
No. The Eastern Conference. The Eastern.
You don't
I
think
think
Miami is top 5?
no. I got.
You
Let's see.
tripping.
We got the Knicks that won last year. You got the 76ers who favored this year. You got the Detroit Pistons. You got the Magic. You got
The Pistons are gonna take a step back, bro. The
I
Pistons are gonna take a step back, I believe.
I don't think they fall out of top 5 though. I'm not saying it because there was number 1.
Orlando won't be top 5.
I got Orlando top 5.
You got Orlando over Miami. I don't think I'm putting Orlando over Miami.
The reason I'm saying Orlando over Miami is because Orlando still got the same squad. They just got to just keep their team healthy. This is a brand new squad.
I think Orlando need better point guard play.
Who do they
But
pick
you
up?
are
Did
right.
they pick up anybody?
They do still have the same squad though.
Let me see. Who did they pick up? Jalen Suggs isn't bad.
I didn't say he was bad. I think they need better point guard play though. He doesn't move the needle at the point guard position for them. He doesn't
So
run the team well, I don't think.
So let me
Like
see.
he
I got
gets real. And plus, I
all
don't
right.
even think he's the starting point guard, is he? I thought he was like the 6 man or something, or is he? Or the starting 2? Who the fuck they know? Do he
He played
start?
point. He played point
But
last
you know
season. Hold on, I'm gonna give you
they
my
run a
top
lot of
5.
sets with Bankero on ball.
Yeah, but no. All right. Hold on a second. Give me 2 seconds. Okay. Definite 4. Like definite 4. And I hear what you're saying about the Pistons, but the reason I'm saying they're going to be in that, they're not going to fall from 1 to 6. I don't see that. I got them,
I think they're gonna fall out of the top 5 because we stood pat. We didn't make no moves,
but they got enough to get
which
them there.
regressed our roster. I don't think we're gonna just fall out the playoffs. I just don't see us as a right now. I don't see us as a top 5 team presently constructed, especially with everything going on with Dern and his contract situation. That's gonna be a black cloud over the franchise and the roster moving forward until something is solved there. Cade still does not have that significant running mate that we all know we need. Plus, we lost pieces. Would you expect me to think Gary Harris is like they didn't do much to improve this roster. The roster got worse, if you ask me. We lost some of our better pieces.
Okay. So, all right. So here's what I got top 5 though. 76ers, no particular order. 76ers, Knicks, Pacers, Pistons, Magic. Then you got Miami, Raptors.
how are you gonna leave Cleveland off?
Okay, I forgot about Cleveland. So yeah, so all right, so you know what? I don't really look at them as being a real team. Okay, you're right.
But we're talking about the top 5 teams in the conference, is what I'm saying.
Yes.
And we before R&B came on, we
know.
spoke about Cleveland. So
we did. No, you're right. Okay, so I'll take Pacers out and I'll put Cleveland in there. Even though I feel like the Pacers.
Hold on, so you think the Pacers are gonna be back in the top 5?
Halliburton's coming back.
What moves did they make? They lost pieces. Miles Turner left last year.
Yeah,
they didn't do much to improve the roster. And you think he's just gonna pop back in and they shoot back up to the top of the standings?
I think they stay in top 5 contention. 2 years before that, they made the finals.
I
It's
don't
not like
know.
they
That
2
changed.
years,
I,
2 years is a long time in sports world.
Okay,
yeah.
let's look at the roster, right? Halliburton, Zubac, Soyakam. You got Nemhard still on the team. You got enough. You got enough to get you to the top
Yeah,
five.
yeah, yeah. I
I'm
forgot
not
they
saying they're
picked up
going.
Zubac. I forgot they
Yeah,
picked Zubac up. That's a good pickup.
yeah. I'm not saying they're going to beat everybody. No, hell no. They probably won't even make it out the first round. But I do have them top five because that's what they was missing last season. They burned out Nemhart. Nemhart was playing point guard, and he's really a shooting guard.
Mhm.
So the East is loaded. Then okay, let's say we don't agree with that. We put Cleveland there, right? You still got the Raptors. They were top five last season without Kawhi.
Mhm.
This team
I
is
mean,
loaded.
It
I
might
don't
be
know.
without Kawhi again this year. We're gonna have to see how that goes. I guess we just have to see how it play out, man. But
Yeah,
I
it's going
definitely
to be
think
interesting.
Miami got enough to at least be a top five team in the East, even if
Okay,
that's 4 or 5. At least they should.
they
I mean,
should.
let me ask you this
Yeah.
question: if you're
Hmm.
the
mhm,
general manager right now of the Miami Heat, both of y'all, and you've
Hmm.
okay.
accumulated the roster that you have right now, you don't feel like you should at the very least your players be delivering you to a top five berth in the playoffs?
I'll let you answer
You
first,
might
Mike.
look at it and say that you have to do more, but as of right now, would you at least feel like they should be able to get you top five in the East?
Looking at the landscape of the East, personally, I do believe that because you have to look at we're looking at the landscape, right? So I have the top 10 teams in front of me right now. So I'm looking at the like you said, the Pistons taking a step backwards, obviously the Celtics taking a step backwards, and even potentially Toronto going backwards a little bit. So now that leaves the Knicks and Cleveland there in that five mix. Um, so I could see obviously we're gonna put Philly into that top five mix. That leaves me with two spots. Looking at the rest of the roster or the conference, um, to me it doesn't seem like it's impossible. I would expect top five if I'm the GM, but I would definitely, if not, get that six to avoid that plan. At minimum, they can do that with the roster they have here. I don't see them top three or maybe even four, but they can avoid that plan 100%, in my opinion.
Okay, in my opinion, honestly, I mean, I would be disappointed if they don't make the top five. But with the contract and the way the team is constructed, I would understand if they don't make it into the top five. I think I would rather them push to make the playoffs versus try to make top five and then of course get out the first round. Like I'd rather them be in the sixth spot and go in a deep playoff run.
Yeah, but in the sixth spot, you threatening to be a play-in team. You don't go acquire Giannis Antetokounmpo to still threaten to be a play-in team. You
I
go
know, but
get Giannis Antetokounmpo and pair him with Bam Adebayo, even though I'm not really a big believer in the pairing because of the way
yeah,
that the team is built out right now.
yeah.
Um, but just because of the names that they are and the talents that they are, I don't go accumulate that talent to still not be at least a top five team in the East and threaten to go to the Eastern Conference Finals, if not finals.
Yeah, I mean, okay, that's a fair assessment on it. Also, you have to remember it's a new team. Like it's not a team that played last season in the East. This is a brand new
This is
squad.
it's a brand new squad, but they are veterans. We're not talking about a third year guy and a fourth year guy. We're talking about two experience. Both have been to finals. One has won a championship in the finals. Experience, superstar, and all-star players
But then we're
that
asking
have
for
been paired together.
Miami go from being number 10 in the East last season to number 5. That's a huge ass jump.
It is, but when you accumulate Giannis Antetokounmpo, that's the jump that you expect to take. That's why you go and get Giannis Antetokounmpo. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, but yes and no.
You're right.
I mean, the reason, okay, and you know what, R&B, I would agree with you 100%. Like, I would have no like pushback against it at all if Giannis wasn't hurt all the time last season. See, we keep missing that part.
Nah, but you can't get me with that one either, because let's not forget, Giannis came out and said that he felt healthy, he feels good, and he wants to play. It was the team that was not allowing him to pay because they were
Okay.
trying to protect a trade asset because they knew they were going to trade his ass and they didn't want him to get hurt.
I mean, we watched him play live, and that man went down a few times. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And he missed, well, I don't even know how many weeks, but he missed like damn near 5 weeks of basketball. And it was because I know, of course, it was, you know, injury management, protecting your asset, all that stuff. But I'm saying I watched this man play and there was nobody contacting him, nobody bumping him, and he just fell. And I'm like, oh, damn, is he all right? I thought he like, you know, tore an Achilles the way he hit
his style of play. You hear me say this all the time. 7-footers are not made to do Euro steps and shit.
I agree.
I don't care how athletically built he is or whatever. It's only so long that you're going to get away with moving like you a point guard when you 7 feet. Before you take the wrong step. You too nimble and big and clumsy, automatically clumsy. Look at Joel Embiid a lot of the time.
Yeah, true. But that's what I'm saying. He can't stay healthy. For 2 seasons, almost 2 seasons in a row, this man has missed multiple weeks of games. Like, I'm talking about, you know, double-digit type games. And that's not something where you just kind of like, oh, yeah, they're automatically going to be. No, because this was going to end up happening. Either A, he's going to really be injured, or B, they're going to put him on an injury management type thing, where he doesn't play back-to-backs, or he plays 30 minutes instead of 30, you know, injury management type program where he's not going to play all this time. And he's in his 30s. See, Giannis ain't a spring chicken. Giannis, I believe, is what, 31? How old is Giannis? Let me see. I'm going to look it up right 32. Now. He's 32. Yeah.
I mean, he be turning 32 this season. I think we both got a little bit of right in this, I would say, and from both sides, we both got some right in this.
But I am curious to see how this worked with him and Bam, though. Is that?
Yeah, me too.
I don't care how many damn points Bam scores.
Man, don't even get started on that shit. But that's why I say they need more high-level 3-point shooters in order for this to work. I don't think the Klay Thompsons of the world right now is just going to be enough to, you know, get them where they really want to be, or where they should want to be, going out and acquiring Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. And real quick, this may be a hot take, but I know it's asking for a lot, but I expect the Wizards, especially if they can stay healthy, to at least reach the play-in tournament.
Yeah. I think
maybe even more.
That's the big if right there on health, boy. Trey
AD
Young
and Trey.
AD Trey, but they got DeBonta, man. They got AJ DeBonta. You can't forget about him. And they got their young stars like what's his name? Alex the French guy. What's his name? Help me out, guys.
Sarr.
The center. Alex Sarr. Yeah, Alex Sarr. They got huh?
I didn't see him. People not talking about him a lot. For whatever reason.
Well,
with Washington.
I think because it's the Wizards.
It's the Wizards.
But in all reality, those who watch like a lot of basketball and play fantasy basketball, we love Alex Sarr. He's really good. He's a double machine. They got Koulibaly. Who else they got? They got a few people. What's the guy's name? That team is loaded with talent. I think they make the play-in. I think somebody got to take that spot from the Hornets, that 9-8 spot.
Well, we're gonna see. We're gonna see. And my last basketball topic. Enes Kanter was ejected from a WNBA game following a heated courtside altercation with Natasha Cloud linked to his controversial pursuit of the 2027 WNBA draft. Lord. It's crazy that we're at a point where we're talking about this. And that, I'm reading that they're really talking about this inside and, they don't want to offend anyone. And we get all that. But Raj,
yes.
What are your thoughts?
I'm glad you went to me first.
I knew you was waiting for it. So,
I'm glad you went to me first.
So,
let me just say that.
Express what you feel. There's really no question here. Just express what you feel.
I'm not going to be long-winded, fellas, but I got to say this. I'm so glad this is happening. Because nowhere on God's green earth do you need to have a meeting about what a woman is. Only in the WNBA this happens. Only in the WNBA, you need to literally sit down and have a meeting about the definition of a freaking woman. And I'm glad that he wore that T-shirt.
America.
Only in America, yes. Like Don King used to say, this is crazy. This is absolutely insane. This is insanity at its finest. Let me say this. Enes Kanter is doing what he needs to do as a man, protecting women. And what I mean by that is he's challenging them on their quote unquote wokeness. And I know this is not a political show, so we're not going to go down that path. But what we're talking about,
brother, preach. Get it off your chest, brother. Give us that good word if you want to spread that good word.
We can't keep going down this path because if we keep blurring the lines, it's going to end up everybody's going to be in the WNBA except women. And I'm saying that because I'm a fan of the sport. I'm a fan of basketball first, but then I'm also a fan of fairness. And if you're going to sit there and tell me that it's not defined that a biological woman needs to be a biological woman to play in the WNBA, then I'm pushing back against it as well. I'm saying, okay, then let men play with wigs on. Then let men with wigs on play. Because if you're telling me, oh, well, since you're not really a transgender because you're not taking hormones, you can't come in the WNBA. No, that's not fair because you never said that. You said transsexuals can play. So if Enes Kanter wants to put on a wig or Royce White wants to put on a wig and start slam dunking on these chicks, then let's do it. Because you guys can't even come up with an actual definition of what the W in WNBA means, which is a biological girl born a woman turned into an adult woman. You see what I'm saying? It's not fair. It's not fair.
Might bring some excitement to the league if he get drafted and start dunking on some of them hoes.
And that's what's going to end up happening. If it's not him, it's going to be somebody else. And I'm telling you, it's not going to be pretty. They're going to want to walk this shit back because what's going to end up happening is they're going to block Enes Kanter out of the WNBA because they're like, oh, he's a problem for us, right? They're going to block all the people that's wearing wigs now out of the WNBA. But then what they're really going to do is find someone overseas or find someone in America that's really about that transgender life. They're going to come in the WNBA and average 20-20. And then everyone's going to be pissed off because there's going to be a whole boatload of college students that say, wait a minute, my NIL deal is only $400,000 and they're paying 1.5 at entry level in WNBA. I'm going to the WNBA. I'm gonna put on a wig. And the next thing you know, you got a whole draft class full of Transformers.
Transformers is crazy. Yeah.
It's more than BCI.
Yeah, my man said
The views
Transformers.
expressed here on the Nerdcamps podcast are not. Which one
All
is
right, that's it.
Bumblebee?
That's it. That's all I got. That's all I got. I'm just tired of the nonsense, fellas. I'm tired of them not understanding that a woman is an actual girl. That's an adult. I don't get it. Oh man. All right.
Go ahead, R&B.
Whoever's next. Go ahead.
I'll be honest, I don't really have a lot to say on it, Mike. I'm because it is a political thing to me, and like Raj was saying, he want to keep it non-political and stuff, but I think it's almost impossible to have a conversation without going that route because it is a political thing. You know what I'm saying? It's confusion. It's propaganda. It's foolishness and folly. Just another thing for people to pay attention to take their eyes off of what they really need to be paying attention to and focusing in on. That's all this
Yep.
shit is. Let's not have the mind state that they don't use sports for these propaganda shits too to keep us blinded. It's foolishness, man. Confusion. That's all this shit is. I really don't have much to say on it. It disgusts me. Idiotic shit.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. I think that we have an issue here in the world. And people are having their excuse me, an identity crisis, or they're having, you feel how you want to feel. We had this issue back when with homosexuality, right? Like people were, like, oh, if you're gay, you're evil, or you're this or you're that. Guess what? We adapted to that. If you like the same sex and that's what you do, that's what you do, right? Now the world said that was wrong, but it got adapted. Now here we are again, years later, dealing with this again, in a different form. Men want to be, women, and women want to be men. I don't know what that's like, but if that's what they feel they need to do, so be it. However, I think that there still has to be lines that are drawn. Um, you know, a lot of people, and like R&B said, it's hard to do this and not be political, but for someone like Bruce Jenner to become a woman, and I said this before, win Woman of the Year is crazy. One of my other buddies had said he was watching something where a man dressed up like a woman, or said he was a woman, and then went into like some form of MMA league of some sort and started fighting the girls. That's like if the three of us were going to say, let's go play 3-on-3 basketball, play a pickup game with 3 8-year-olds. Like, like, of course they're gonna lose. Like, so to me, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. And like, bro, you were an NBA player. If you want to play basketball, go back to the NBA. You don't need to play basketball with women. Probably just want to go in the locker room and never mind. But
I ain't no telling what in this canter on. I don't know whether he trying to, if he on playing the role of a puppet right now, trying to prove a point. We don't know what he on. He could be trying to get in the locker room. Like that's why I say it's just a bunch of folly and confusion.
Yeah, and on top of that, you got to look at the big picture. In his cancer, changed his last name to Freedom. And I don't know if you guys remember this, but they said he couldn't come back to Turkey, his home country. So he's definitely politically driven, and I think that he's potentially probably going to run for a senator or some type of governor in the country. I think this is more or less a like I said, political type thing more than anything, because they're challenging not the biological reasoning behind whatever.
Yeah.
What they're doing is saying, okay, women should be labeled as women and men should be labeled as men.
And what was the what's the young lady's name, Raj? I'm pretty sure you know who spoke out against it first. She made like a tweet or something. Is it Whitmore?
I
Because
don't know right off the top.
That's who he was cheering on last night. They was talking about every time
you talking about Cunningham? Sophie Cunningham.
Yeah, he would cheer.
Yeah.
And I guess the one he got into it with, told him, "Oh, she not gonna sleep with you" or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Because he was cheering every time she made a bucket or whatever. Because she was the first person that like kind of spoke out and put a tweet out there or whatever. So just crazy shit, man.
Yeah.
Goes to show you the country we live in.
Absolutely.
Well, we're gonna move ahead and flip over to the NFL. And I'm going to start with a hot one. And I'm mad about it too.
Uh-oh.
I'm so mad, I'm going to wait for R&B to come back. I even noticed he left.
Well, all right, real quick. Can we talk about the injury of Gentry?
Yeah. They said he avoided like a really bad injury. I don't know what I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know what the injury was.
Aston Gentry left the field. They had to cart him off. He couldn't put any pressure on his foot. Thank God. Thank goodness. Because you know what? In some of the fantasy leagues, I already drafted my players. He was definitely my number one pick. So I had to like hold my breath a little bit. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I got like the number two pick in like 2 leagues. And he's gone. Like that really almost broke my heart. But I'm glad that he's not really hurt. Just as a human being, we don't want to ever see players go down like that. But yeah, I'm just glad he's at least not as bad as they said in the beginning. So I'm happy with that.
Oh man.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, nah, absolutely. Well, Agent Solstice is in the building with us at the moment.
What's up, man?
The man I coined.
Can you hear him? There he is.
Me?
Okay.
Yep,
I
there
hear
we
you now.
are.
Good to go.
Yeah.
Hey,
now, if you ever make it big doing your music, Solstice, if you use that name, I want my 5%.
I already coined Solstice agents just for this show. And I gotta get on my shit. That's for sure.
Now,
so you came in at the
what you play?
Oh, I sing. I play guitar. I can play bass. I'm pretty intermediate on piano, but I do a lot of everything. Everything you hear, everything you hear, I performed and wrote it. So
nice.
I respect that.
Oh yeah.
Unless specified that I worked with my friend Hunter.
Get down, Mamba. You can't have any of this.
So you came right at the right time. We just opened the NFL portion, and I was before R&B left. I'm mad about something.
Let's hear it, Mike.
What you mad about?
This is we about to get a famous Mike rant.
We're going to the AFC North, but we're not talking about the Steelers. We're not talking about the Ravens, and we're not talking about the Bengals. We're talking about this befuckery where the Cleveland Browns named Cryptic Crutch Wheelchair Deshaun Watson the starter over Shedeur Sanders. What are we doing? When was the last time this man played any comparable football at all? When? Tell me. Tell me. When was the last time this happened? Go ahead. Age of Solstice.
My answer would be when they were up 24-0 against the Kansas City Chiefs in the 2019 divisional round.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that now let's put this into perspective, okay?
Mm-hmm.
When we talked about Kawhi Leonard going back to Toronto, I said that happened in 2019. And R&B said, damn, I didn't realize that was 7 years. But we've noticed that Watson has deteriorated in 7 years. You've seen it between the injuries and coming on the field and not looking the same. You know, I don't even the Cleveland quarterback thing has been so crazy. I don't even know how many quarterbacks they have on the roster. But the fact that you drafted this kid that you didn't want to draft and you're holding him hostage for whatever reason and won't start him is fucking asinine. And then you got these people on ESPN earlier today, or maybe it was yesterday, saying Cleveland's going 3-14. Of course they are when you're having someone who needs a wheelchair to get to the field be your quarterback. You don't even have an opportunity. And now we know it's Cleveland. I'm not saying Shedeur is going to have them win 12 games, but can we stop with the fuckery here? Can we stop? Please. Please. Like, what are we doing? Why? Why are we going here? Like, I don't even have a question. Whoever wants to go. Please, maybe one of you guys can say something that'll help me understand this, because I don't fucking understand it all. There's not even a question. This is just an open forum. Whoever wants to
I can try to put a little bit of merit to this madness if you give me 1 second.
Other than the money they're paying him.
I feel safe enough to say that I think everybody on this panel currently feels like Shedeur should be out rolling out as the starter for the last preseason game and for week 1. We all in agreement? Say aye, please.
Aye.
Oh, double aye. Hell yeah. Whatever else is gonna say yes.
I'm the Pixar aye. I'm violently stepping on aye.
And I as well. What I want to get at.
Mm-hmm.
Mike and Raj know this I say this all the time. I'm a big podcast guy, which is what kind of got me into doing this with them and doing it on my own, so on and so forth. I like I love watching podcasts. So I'm a big fan of the Nightcap, Shannon Sharp, Ocho, ISO Joe, and I was watching last night, and Chad Ochocinco was breaking down my exact thoughts and sentiments. How I felt like this shit was gonna go, and it made so much sense, and he was right. This, for one, when you pay a player as much money as they have committed to Deshaun Watson, we got to remember what we dealing with here, people. These are billionaire owners. They don't think how we think. I'm gonna go there. They have that type of mindset where it's like, I gave you this money and I want something for it. That's the mindset that they carry. Since Deshaun Watson has been in Cleveland, he has not been able to deliver on that $230 million or $35 million guaranteed contract due to bad play and due to injury. I don't know what led to him, even before he got hurt, he was not looking the same. I guess it must have been, all of the time that he was off, in between the scandal and getting traded, and it just seemed like he just kind of lost a step because when you're not constantly, doing those reps and you're not in the game, saying you can lose a little bit. And that's what I felt like happened. And it just kind of drastically started getting worse for him. But at the end of the day, I knew that they were still going to go with Deshaun Watson as the starting quarterback the minute they said that this was going to be a fucking competition. After Shador Sanders clearly looked like the best thing you had. I'm not saying he looked like a world beater, but he looked like the best fucking thing that you had on that roster, quarterback wise, coming out of last season. And the minute they said it was a competition, I knew it that they was going to start Deshaun Watson. I think it's because of the money that they paid him. They want to try to see what they have there still. They want to try to get something out of it because they're married to him at this point. So even if you release him, you eating that money. You know what I'm saying? So at this point, with all that money, you might as well at least hold on to him. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying how they thinking to at least be maybe the starter or a backup. And another piece to it, and this is it. If somebody else can come in, whatever. But another piece to it is I also believe that this is a setup. I believe that they're saying let's start with Deshaun Watson, roll him out week 1, let him look bad week 1, let him look bad week 2. You possibly 0-2. And then I was just looking at their schedule. Week 3 is their home opener. And then you roll Shador Sanders out there for week 3 as the starter after Deshaun has abysmal 0-2 start. And now Shador is the hero. To that, you guys say what?
I say you covered everything I had to say.
Yep. Same. Same. And you know what? I'm going to add this in real quick.
Go ahead.
You're 1,000% right, R&B. It's about money. At the end of the day, it's about return on investment, ROI. And when it's all said and done, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. So when you look at the situation with Shador Sanders, he showed what he can do last season, and he showed what he can do during the preseason. Deshaun Watson is still on a prove it deal, even though they done paid him like damn near $250 million. They still looking for him to prove, can he at least get him into contention of something or win some games, because he played terrible the last time he played. And to be quite honest, I'm glad it's going this way, because I'd rather see him get the opportunity and see what happens versus them putting Shador out there too soon and then everything falls apart and then they blaming Shador for everything. So I hope that he does well regardless, but to be quite honest, let's keep it real, fellas. They need to bring those massage parlors back.
We've been calling for the massage parlor since I've been doing this show with y'all. We've
that's
been
what I'm
calling for
saying.
them to come back.
Look, I get it. I mean, look, maybe they have to monitor the massages or whatever, but my man is not right. He haven't been right since he left those massage parlors. So with that being said, I hope that he plays well this season, but we'll see what happens.
I do think that there are no real excuses for either of these quarterbacks anymore this year. Like, from what I'm heard, because the Browns did just play the Bills, so they had a joint practice, so their 1v1s basically went in. I got reading from the beat journalists going over the practices and whatnot. I'm hearing really good reports from both sides about the 2 receivers they drafted, Casey Concepcion and Denzel Boston. They apparently put on a show this past week.
Boston is a beast. I'm familiar with Denzel Boston. Yeah, he a beast.
Yeah, and Concepcion is going to be
even coming out of high school.
So, I mean, hey, maybe future's looking, future's bleak, but also, maybe, a couple pieces here, a couple pieces there. Jared Verse is very good himself. Denzel Ward is very good. Yeah. So, maybe.
I think that they've done a solid job of building this team out. They just got to see who's going to be the quarterback.
I completely agree.
Yeah. Yep.
That makes a lot of sense. And even though you're making sense, R&B, it don't mean I gotta like it. Don't mean I gotta like it.
Hey, I don't even like it.
I don't think nobody likes it.
It's whack. When have you ever seen somebody outperform somebody in a training camp or in the OTAs, off season, practice, preseason, and still get named number 2? When you got a motherfucker that's about to make 60-something million, whatever the fuck Deshaun making this year, that's when you seen it.
So moving
He lost
along.
the job when he did that piss poor ass press conference. If you ask me, that was such a sorry ass thing to go up there and do and say and talk about.
Them booing him.
Yeah, like bro.
Yeah, I know.
You begging at that point. I'm not saying that they was right for booing him, but you as the quarterback, you can't go up there and have that press conference.
No excuse about
and
that.
He was talking about how they were cheering when he got hurt.
Yeah.
Raj, why you laugh?
They really hate him.
I ain't
I'm not a Cleveland fan.
In my younger, more immature days, I cheered when people got hurt from the rival team. I remember back in the day, I think it was 2005 going to the Palace and the Pistons was playing the Spurs, and it was the game where Tim Duncan twisted his ankle and went down. And I was sitting there clapping like a motherfucker.
But here's the thing. It was the Cleveland fans that were cheering he got hurt. That's the problem. The Cleveland fans were cheering he got hurt. Not the other team.
But that's it's deeper than that. They weren't cheering because he got hurt. They were cheering because they felt like that's what you get. Because the narrative is that this man is a rapist.
Yeah, that's the underline of it. But you know what? I know a few people that are from Cleveland. I got family in Cleveland. Listen, they hate Deshaun Watson. They can't wait for that man to get waived from the team. And I'm telling you this because fans out there really don't like him like that. So we'll see what happens, man.
He honestly don't look the same no more. He don't have the same zip. When he throw the ball, different. I don't know if y'all notice when he throw the ball, he got this weird little hitch where he lift his back leg up. Or you be seeing that? I ain't never seen nobody throw the ball like that before. It's like he trying to put so much strength into it that he got to lift his leg up to do it. Like you normally throw from the waist. Your power come from your waist. So he just don't look the same. This the dude we was calling the Michael Jordan the quarterbacks at one time. And
he's washed.
Well,
I remember that.
Didn't he tear the same ACL twice? Or didn't he tear the Achilles twice?
Achilles? I think it was Achilles.
Yeah,
it's Achilles.
He
tore it twice
last year. Yeah, he had a setback last year that with the same Achilles. I'm guessing that the setback wasn't as bad as the original, which is why he's able to play now. Because I highly doubt if it was the same, as the original, he would be playing right now. So I don't know, but
it's been like 20 months, I think, since he played.
Yeah, something like that.
All I can tell you is I know one thing. Week 1, he's coming out looking crusty. He is going to be so bad.
Yeah, unders feel like a good
week 1.
He started out against his predecessor.
What, Houston?
Oh, they played
Jacksonville. Don't they play Jacksonville week 1? I think they play Jacksonville in Jacksonville. He got to go play Sweetness.
Hold on, I'm bringing the schedule up now.
The Clemson boy against the Clemson boy.
Where the fuck are they?
Nice.
Yeah, at Jacksonville, he's right.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounded right.
Who would have thought we'd be dreaming of a matchup between Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence, and there's no type of hype around it at all. Like not even a, this normally back in the day, this would be one of them matchups where you turn on Fox at about 12 o'clock and they interviewing Trevor Lawrence at 12:05 and Deshaun Watson interview at 12:10. And it's
Wait,
a lot of
yeah.
hype and build up around the first game on Fox.
Wait,
But
aren't they
now,
both Clemson?
Yeah. That's what he
That's
said.
what I'm saying. The Clemson boys.
The
His predecessor.
Yeah, he played behind.
But-
Following him.
but now all they get is that Kirk Cousins treatment.
That's
Nobody
it.
cares.
Getting paid way too
Nobody cares.
Hey, y'all know how I feel about Kirk Cousins, but if Deshaun Watson could give them a touch of what Kirk Cousins has been able to do the past couple years, hurt or not, Cleveland would probably go to the playoffs, and they love him for the next year.
Till
They
he
love him for the next year.
Yep.
So the next topic I got here, there's another very, very upset quarterback in the AFC North. And we ain't talking about Aaron Rodgers, and we ain't talking about Lamar. We talking about Mr. Can't Stay Healthy Burrow. Mr. Burrow went up there and they asked him about Super Bowls. And he says, every year we say next year. Well, next year needs to become this year. Staking his claim that they're going to go back to the Super Bowl and win. They went, 2021 they went to the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start with you,
So,
Agent Solstice, being that you also have a quarterback who's under the same scrutiny or in an organization in the same boat. What are your thoughts on Cincinnati, on Joe Burrow's claim to go to the Super Bowl this season? And can they do it?
I mean, if they stay healthy, they have a better chance that they have. But it's crazy to think when you all these great quarterbacks ended up in the AFC, and it's creating such a it's killing all of their legacies because only him, Lamar, Josh, Pat, only one of them can go at a time. It's gonna be like that for at least 3 of these guys every year. So it's someone certainly can do it. It's basically a roulette at this point, and it mostly keeps just landing on Pat.
Till it doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, it landed on Drake May last year.
Out of all quarterbacks, out of all the quarterbacks in the AFC, nobody picked him. Not this year.
That I forgot they went to the Super Bowl.
He played like shit.
he went to the Super Bowl and they still ain't picking him. They still going back to the Burrow, Allen, and Mahomes and Lamar conversation. So
now, real quick before you keep going, I want to say this: the only reason I personally believe that he's still not in that upper echelon, it's the first time he's gone, and whether people like it or not, Patriot fans gonna hate this if they see this. They had a soft schedule last season.
Yeah,
you gotta call it what it is.
And they did voodoo magic during the playoffs.
Their schedule was softer than baby shit. So now you've gone to the Super Bowl. Regardless of how you got there, you won 13 games. You've gone to the Super Bowl. You're going to have a harder schedule this year. And I believe 13.
Knicks didn't play the AFC Championship, too.
Yeah,
we can't.
The best team
we can't forget.
Yeah.
The best team they beat last year was the Bills, just repeatedly shooting themselves in the foot. It was just
But the problem, but regardless of that, at the end of the day, they went to the Super Bowl. So now you got to go out there and do it again. All these other guys have done something that have caused them to stay there, right? Lamar has won multiple MVPs. Josh Allen has won an MVP, has made Super Bowl or AFC Championship appearances. Burrow has went to a Super Bowl. You know, obviously Mahomes has already had a Hall of Fame career. Like, you know, essentially. So, you know, even though some of those things hold less weight than others, they've done something and have made an impact enough. He's got to go out there and do it again. And when they fall short again, he's got to go out there and do it again and again and again until he gets the job done. But what would you say to Joe Burrow's comments, R&B?
Believe it or not, like a few people, me myself, I have Cincinnati coin as one of the top teams in the AFC this year, barring health.
Right.
Barring health, I think that this could be one of those years that they could mess around and go to the Super Bowl if Burrow is able to stay healthy, which is now, as much as I hate to say it, is it's a big question now with him. Health is a big question with him now. He's just had too many injuries in his short stint. Even the year that they went to the Super Bowl, he was beat up, and that offensive line was, you know, shambles, and he was able to get him there. So that show you his talent. But the last time he talked like this, he turned this whole franchise around and took him to the Super Bowl. So when I would say when he get to talking like this, you know, maybe that can mean something. You know, he got a chip on his shoulder, I'm sure, and he want to come out and prove it. And I think that this is justified that they, you know, people are picking them as one of the top teams this year because, of course, we have to see it, but name wise, move wise, free agent wise, draft wise, they finally did something to improve that defense. The Bengals defense should be a lot better this year. A lot of people are picking them to be a top 10 to top 15 defense. So if you're telling me that they can still come out here and be the top offense that they have been, even with Joe Flacco under center, you know, with a healthy Joe Burrow, and that this defense is not going to be top 10 to top 15, then maybe that's why he has the confidence to come out and say what he said. So we have to see.
What about you, Raj? How you feel about Burrow's comments?
Yeah, you know, I always been a fan of Burrow. I think he's one of the best in the game. I'm not saying he's a person that can get it done, but he's Joe Cool. You know what I'm saying? He makes shit happen though. But unfortunately, he can't stay healthy. He can't stay healthy, and that's predicated to his offensive line. That offensive line is trash. I watched him during the preseason. I'm like, damn, they still didn't fix it because they're still dealing with the issues of people just running right through it. But if healthy and if they can keep him upright, they got all the talent, man. They got Chase Brown, they got Jamar Chase, you know, they got a lot of T. Higgins. They got a lot of talent, man. I mean, a lot of talent when it comes down to the offensive side. And you know, they just need to get the right matchup in the playoffs to show they can do something. Remember, that run that the Bengals had during the 21 season, nobody expected them to go that far. But it was just a matchup nightmare for the other side. So I think they can do something if they can stay healthy, get to that top number one spot in the AFC, and figure out how to stay healthy during the playoffs too.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that the Bengals, when healthy, can be a top 3 team in the league. You know, there's no doubt about that because Burrow is a phenomenal player. But I hate to, a lot of what's going on with him gives me, you know, reminiscence of the Colts with Andrew Luck. A player who had to retire way too early. And he retired, like they were calling for him to have that career year that year he retired. And it sucked. You know, because he was, you know, he had big shoes to fill, following Peyton Manning, and I believe he was well on his way to doing that if he could have stayed healthy.
If they could have kept him healthy,
Right,
he got beat to death back there.
right, and that's the same thing I'm seeing here. This is one of those situations where when you lose your main guy, your team goes to shit.
Yep.
If you complete, and quarterback, it's hard to make up for, but they are bad. Like like if you lose them a game or two, and you can win one, lose one, you could stay on track. But he goes down 5-6 games, then he comes back when they're 3-8 and tries to pull off these heroics. And do they win a lot of games? Yeah, but you gotta just. He's got to play smarter, and the Bengals have not done him any service. They have not done him any justice. They do not improve that line, and it's going to be bad. In terms of his comments, I do believe that. What else are you supposed to say to that, right? Like, of course you want to win every year, but to Brandon's point, someone's got to go. And the way I'm looking at the AFC as it's constructed right now is you looking at Mahomes, because he's there until he's not. I'm still looking at Lamar. Once again, he's there until he's not. And then you look at Buffalo, of course, and then other teams. I'm paying attention to New England. Yeah, they had a soft schedule, but there's an expectation. You just went to the Super Bowl. I'm looking at Jacksonville. Someone me and Raj have been real heavy on is Trevor Lawrence. You did real well. You made improvements. I'm looking at you. Who else?
Denver.
Obviously Denver, of course, Denver. They're still in the mix. I'm looking for Houston to make
Denver to go to the Super Bowl.
You say you picked them to go to Super Bowl?
A lot of the pundits they picking Denver to go to the Super Bowl. A lot of the talking heads.
Yeah.
A lot of them say that defense should be the number one defense this year and that they're going to be amazing.
Now, Bo Nix has Jalen Waddle to throw to on top of Cortland Sutton.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a lot.
I still don't believe in Ho Nix either, though. I still don't believe in Ho Nix. He's still on the verdict for me a little bit.
I think he just has a little bit of enough to just make him annoying and serviceable. Like his arm strength is just good enough. He's just mobile enough. He has just good enough pocket presence. He reads the defense is just good enough. Like he's not amazing at anything, but everything is like passing grade.
He's good, exactly. And Sean Payton loves that shit.
But that's what irritates me the most about him when Russ was on his way out of the door with the Denver Broncos and Sean Payton wanted to draft him. Mm-hmm. The key things that he talked about were all of these different attributes that Bo Nix had that he was amazing at, that he does great at a Hall of Fame level. I mean, he talked this kid up like he was fucking Peyton Manning or saying one of the greats that then came out number one or whatever. Fuck, he talked him up like he was an Andrew Luck or some shit. You know what I'm saying? And I have not seen that. For what Solstice just described, that's not what Sean Payton was describing when they decided to move on from Russ and how he treated Russ and when he drafted Bo Nix. So, so that's why for me the verdict is still
Russ was.
We know Russ was at this point now. We know Russ was done, but I'm just talking about the way he went about it and like almost like character assassinated that man, almost like you didn't want him to have another job. Like it's a way to go about it when you're a head coach to be professional. You can like move on from a player and not demean them as a person, and especially with him being a black man at quarterback to make him damn near looked like he not serviceable anymore because he went to Pittsburgh and showed that he still had a little something left, even though it tailored off, but he did show, he had them looking like they were going to be in playoff contention for a hot second before they fell off the map again. So
then went
that's
to the
all
Giants,
I'm saying, man.
It was well documented that Sean Payton was a dickhead to
he was an asshole.
To Russ. So I'm not going to argue that. Like there definitely was. Like I remember seeing some like sideline footage like when they played us that year, and it was just like, ugh, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I'll agree with that. It's that's just Sean. Like Sean Payton was part of the whole bounty gate. Like dude's a dickhead. Like
yeah, he's a dickhead.
But another thing I'll add in about Bo Nix, which is exactly the reason why I think the Broncos are going to make it far, is Bo Nix come with zero ego. Even though, Sean Payton wanted his own quarterback with Russ. And I'm not saying that Russ had an ego. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is Sean Payton wanted to build his own quarterback up. And that the way he approached it was horrible. But when it comes down to right now, I think Bo Nix can do just enough because he pisses me off. This is what gets me mad. He's the type of quarterback that if you know that he can throw a touchdown, he won't do it. He just pass it off. He'll just hand it off to who did they have on the team last year? They kept feeding the ball like right there. And I'm like, damn, he could have got me some touchdowns. What was that running back last season? Damn, I can't
Denver's running back?
Yeah.
I can't remember right now.
I can't remember off the top, but my point is he's the type of quarterback that it was Harvey and there was another one.
J.K. Dobbins, was he on there?
Dobbins. And it's one of those type of things where he plays it safe. He plays it safe to the point where you're like, it's annoying. And they keep the score low enough for him just to get a couple touchdowns. They don't have to score like 5 touchdowns. They score like maybe 3, 2 or 3 of them, and they're good.
So for you're saying that Bo Nix is your NFL version of Ben Simmons.
Yes. Thank you. Yes. Second year Ben Simmons too. Second year Ben Simmons. Yep. Good point, Mike. I like that. He's basically Ben Simmons, and I hate that dude. But I got Bo Nix on my fantasy team, though. Shout out to Bo Nix, though.
Well, I agree with that sentiment because he really isn't great at anything. Like he's like above average, I would say, at like everything.
Yeah.
He's just really, he passes well enough, like to Brandon's points. Like he passes well enough, he reads well enough, just enough. Like you don't need a blaringly over the top offense to win. Like, and to me, he plays in that AFC Championship. Denver Broncos probably potentially would have won the Super Bowl. I mean, would have been a boring bowl either way because it would have been 2 best defenses going head to head. Gosh, it would have been a snooze fest. But it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. Just like this next topic that I want to bring up because we're running on time. I just read, I don't know how true it is. I just read this, that Aaron Donald is looking for a certain number before he announces his return or decides if he's going to come back to the Rams. I guess I don't know how it works once you retire. I'm reading there's 1 year, $30 million left on the contract he had. I don't know if he's looking for more or something like that. Do you think the Rams give him that? Or should they give him that and get him back on the field?
If I'm them, I would shelve them to the playoffs. And hell yeah.
I don't know if I would shelf them to the playoffs, but I wouldn't. I'm not against shelving them. Maybe through about just over mid-season. I want him to play at least 2-3 games to get his motor going, get in football shape.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I would say that, to even maybe a few more, like 5, just to, get the dust off and get back in mode, because either way you look at this, to me the Rams are still right now and are the favorites in the
NFC
NFC.
favorites, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think they're the favorites,
to
period.
that, right? Yeah, potentially. But if they get him to come back on top of Myles Garrett, on top of Puka, on top of Devontae, Kyron Williams,
Mm-hmm.
and Matt Stafford, if he's able to still play at a very high level, which I believe he can, because he threw 46 touchdowns last year and was elite.
He won MVP.
And won MVP. I mean, bro, there's just no one who could stop this team. They just win in all 3. They can win they can beat you. I'm sorry, in all 3 phases. And if you have a team like that, that's terrifying. Very terrifying. And then, not for nothing, I know it's preseason, but they got their guy just sitting back there watching. Damn, R&B left again. I didn't even see him get up.
He's right there.
Oh, you bent down. You just wasn't on the screen. I'm like, where'd he go?
No, my cat kept grabbing at me to rub him and stuff. I was rubbing.
You bent down. The wall's white. So, oh man, I need some sleep. That's for sure. But yeah, Ty Simpson's back there, and he's just waiting for his turn, and he's gonna be learning while Stafford's still playing. I mean, he's got a few. He's gonna play like that. He can play a few more years for sure. But so one thing I want to talk about, and I hope one of you guys can clear this up because I don't think I'm really understanding it fully. You guys watch more college than I do, but they were talking about NFL prospects who don't make a team being eligible to return to college. Just give me a little more insight on that and you guys' thoughts. If you want to start, Raj, I know you're a heavy college watcher.
Yeah, I mean, they pretty much did it in the NBA. They're allowing college kids that get drafted into a professional league like the NBA, NFL, and they decide, you know what, this isn't a path for me. I'm not on the path I want to go. So they probably had a couple of games in the NFL. Or they probably, went out there and played in the preseason. They allowed them to go back to college and finish up their college. And then, of course, redeclare for the NFL draft. In all honesty, I can understand that in college football or, the NFL in college football more than the NBA. And the reason why is because in college football, in NFL football, you have to be a certain weight and size. You know what I mean? Like that man weight got to be on you. You just can't just run up against dudes that got mortgages. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not going to work out well coming from college and weighing up, a $150. So I think there's a lot to do with like the mentality, the weight, everything that goes into being a professional. Their scheduling, everything. So I don't really mind that in NFL, but as far as the NBA goes, that pisses me off. Like the fact that I've watched, I want to say about 4 or 5 players go into the NBA, playing actual real games, NBA games, and now they're playing in college. That's not fair. That's not fair at all. So that's pretty much it. But we'll see what happens. I think a lot of people are going to start doing that, especially now with the injuries and stuff like that. A lot of them probably want to preserve and stay in college for a little bit longer.
Is there a time limit to it? Meaning, so let's just say hypothetically, a guy goes into the NFL and he plays 7 games, and then decides he wants to go back to college. There should be a cutoff. Is there a cutoff? Is what I'm asking. Before it's like you can't do that.
Yeah, from what I'm reading, I don't think there is a cutoff. They didn't mention a cutoff. but I'm guessing it's probably during the regular season. Like they rather you not work during the regular season or actually play during the regular season. They didn't say a playoff, but I'm just guessing this is what they're thinking. Because once you
Yeah, that
start
shit
getting
wild.
NBA, NFL checks, man, you're a pro. Once you start getting
Right.
checks, you're a pro.
What were we gonna add, R&B?
Now, I was gonna say the Wright who played for the Browns, which is where this story was developing from.
Yeah.
He didn't play a single preseason game this year, and he actually was coming back from an injury. And they decided to release him. So I'm cool with it for players
Yeah.
who don't make teams. But like Raj said, if you actually make a team, you know what I'm saying, and play official games, then yeah, at that point you're a pro. You should have to stick to that. But if you get drafted or you decide to make yourself eligible for the draft and you go undrafted but still make it onto a practice squad roster or something like that where you can actually try to work your way onto a team and you become unsuccessful with that, I think that you should be able to return to college, and that must mean that you need to develop more. So why not allow them the chance to return back to college and develop more? Because they
Yeah.
don't have the farm system, G League, or like the MLB or NBA. So the G League and the farm system is college. So let them return back to the farm system in college and keep developing and try to get better.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Agent Solstice? You have anything to add to this topic?
Not particularly. I'm not really the big of a college person, so I'm not sure how much how important my opinion of it is. But I mean, it's kind of wild that that you can go back and that from going to the pros to what would be essentially the semi-pros and be making way more money. But it is what it is. Good for the kids.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So last week we talked about this and not close the show on this topic. Like R&B started to get into it, but the show was ending. Last week Von Miller was signed by Dallas. We all know we had some discussion about Jerry Jones and ownership last week, and R&B, I'll let you start because you began speaking about why this was a good move for Dallas. So I'll let you start it off.
You talking about as far as signing Von Miller?
Yeah, signing him and what it means, what it could mean for Dallas this season.
Just bringing a proven veteran to that what we see as an improved defense and improved defensive line. I mean, you got Quentin Williams, you got Clark, and now you bringing in Von Miller. They got some solid linebackers. They drafted Downs, who everybody is very, very high on. We hearing good things, nothing but good things about him coming out of camp. And OTAs and stuff like that this year. They saying that he's basically going to be like a top 10 corner as a rookie. So with people, and these are some no good knowing pundits saying a lot of this stuff like Louis Riddick. Like Louis Riddick, if you guys watch ESPN, he's normally on the money. He don't miss. And
Oh,
he
he's
don't
smart.
miss. He's very big on downs. And saying, so with that being said, I just feel like this was a move that helps bolster that team and that roster and that locker room to possibly contend for an NFC championship. That's what the expectation is this year for Dallas, and I think this is one of the rare years that we can sit back and actually say that this time is real, and it's not just the Dallas fans saying it. Like this time, I feel like it's legitimately real that this team could be a Super Bowl contender, and it just proves what I was saying last week about Jerry Jones. I can't remember who was saying I think someone was mentioning something about the possible like him kind of being like not like the best owner or something like that, or
Yeah, I
one of the
was
better owners,
alluding
and I
to
was saying that I disagreed.
Well, I just think he's overbearing. But then again, it's kind of hard because he's not just the owner; he's the GM and the president, and God over there. So, like reevaluating it a
That's
little
what it
bit. He
was.
wears all the hats.
Yeah, that's what it was. I think you were saying something about you didn't really believe in his general managing skills, and I was basically saying that if you look at the history, Jerry is probably one of the better GMs in NFL history, even though he's the owner and the GM. You know what I'm saying? He does have the
Right.
3 Super Bowls, and he has whether you want to say he did it or people around him did it, with him wearing the hat as the general manager of the Dallas Cowboys, they have signed talent, drafted and developed talent, and always kept solid, to good players and great players on their roster, whether they were good or bad.
So I have a question, and I really should save this for the NFL preview on Sunday, but it just came to me now. You talk about Dallas potentially getting to the NFC Championship. The question is, the only way they can do that potentially is through their division. Um, do you think they win their division potentially? Because I'm looking at it here, right? The top 7 teams this past season was Seattle, Chicago, Philly, Carolina as your division winners, and then you had the Rams, the Niners, and Green Bay as your wild cards.
I think that the Dallas Cowboys can win their division this year. Will they? Will is we
Remains
have
to
to
be
see.
seen.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna go out on a limb and say that they'll for sure win it, but I think they can. I think it's definitely gonna come down this time instead of it just being Philly leading the pack. I think it's gonna be a three-way race between them, the Commanders and Philly. I think all three of them will be punching for this division when it's all said and done at the end of the year,
I agree.
barring health.
And I also before Raj gets in here, I also want to make note of the NFC in this regard. Um, Seattle was 14-3, Chicago 11-6, Philly 11-6, the Rams 12-5, San Francisco 12-5. Outside of the Saints and Washington with the injuries, all the other teams were on that 8-9 barrel, right? So we had a lot of middle of the pack teams that you win another game or two here or there, you're changing this whole picture. Um, so there's definitely a lot of pieces to it as well. Um, you know, I just like, we talked about Carolina, how they gotta kind of build off of last year. You're looking at Minnesota trying to get back into the fold. Detroit, you know, Obafemi's finishing move is a fall from grace, and that's what they had. Uh, you know, Washington. Washington was in the NFC Championship, right? A couple years ago, and then they got they got all
Fall
the
from grace
injuries.
too.
So
Injuries.
yeah, they got jacked. So it's gonna be interesting. You look like you wanted to say something before, Raj. I'm sorry.
No. I was just agreeing. I was saying, it's all depend on injuries and the way everything falls as far as the seating and stuff like that. That all plays a part into how successful Dallas can be. But I will say this though, Dak Prescott, he gotta show up. He gotta be that guy this year. He's 33. I didn't realize he was in his late mid 30s basically. Um, yeah, he gotta be that guy this season.
Specifically against
Yeah,
good teams.
Yes,
Yeah,
against
yeah.
good team. I mean, his numbers, as far as his numbers go, he's always putting up crazy numbers. as far as like over
They were
4,000
top
yards.
5 offense last year.
Yeah, 30 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. But it's just like he's got to be a better decision maker. He's got to put out work to help him win. No
He puts up
more.
those crazy numbers against bad teams.
Yeah, no more bad teams going crazy on them. But then he goes up against teams like the Patriots and then they lose. You know what I'm saying? Like he got to beat good teams.
Well, and that's what it comes down to is when, I think the biggest issue that I've seen personally, with the Cowboys is when the lights are the brightest, that's when they fold.
Yeah.
To me, Dak Prescott is the NFL James Harden. Regular season, he's fucking elite. Like he looks like a top 5 quarterback. Then playoffs come, that man is gone. He is shrank. Is it a bad analogy though?
No, that's perfect. That is perfect.
Dak Harden, James Prescott.
James Prescott.
Man.
Well, gentlemen, we've reached the 2-hour mark. I just want to make sure everyone's still good for Sunday for the NFL preview episode.
Yep, should be good.
Yeah.
Should be good.
Yes.
Yeah.
What time were you talking about doing it?
9 or 10, whichever one works better for you guys.
Okay. I'll let you know. I'll let you know.
All right.
So I mean, to me, it's gonna be like at least 3 hours. So especially if Will is able to make it into the fold. So maybe even a little longer. So at 10, and 10 should be good if that's what you guys want to do.
Yeah, that's cool with me.
So,
Yeah, I can do that.
So all right. So we'll do 10. We'll aim for 10 on Sunday.
Sounds good.
Yeah, we'll aim for 10. And we'll get going on that. Say that again.
Vote for Pedro.
Oh man. Well, thank you all for joining me. Good show, and I look forward to Sunday morning, and talking all NFL. So NBA don't do nothing this week because guess what? If you do on Sunday, you getting Kirk Cousins. We don't care.
We don't care.
We don't care.
Exactly.
We don't care. Because the last time I told y'all not to do something, you fucked around and did it.
Bullshit. If something big enough happened, we don't care.
Well, listen. Last time I told them not to trade Giannis, and them niggas traded Giannis. No.
That's a fact. And before that, it was the whole thing with LeBron. We're like, damn.
Yeah. So yeah. But it's all right. You know why? Because they be like, man, they tired of the NFL. I don't care what they say. The NBA is tired of the NFL. They done came, took Christmas from them. Like, come on. Like, yo. It's just like they done messed up. The NBA is tired of the NFL. They like, get the fuck out of here. We are tired of y'all asses.
Exactly.
But unfortunately, NFL is more popular. All right, guys. Everyone have a good week. Always a pleasure. And we will see you next week on Sunday morning. Peace.
Peace.
Dose.